It only took 17 years for Steph to get the whistle he deserves. Steph shoots 13 free throws last night in Portland, and a lot of them on jump shots, on threes. And the NBA's point of emphasis from the refereeing this season is the high five rule. Defenders were taking advantage of hitting the shooter after the release, and just, I think, general overall, protecting the shooter. And it got me to thinking, like, if Steph had been getting this call all along, like, what does his career stats look like? Let's be modest and say it's 4 points more per game. He gets fouled like 5-6 times. Maybe I'm exaggerating being a biased Warriors fan, but the point is he could have like 4,000 more points if he had been getting this whistle the entire time. And how many more wins would the Dubs have? So Steph shoots 13 free throws and has kind of a quiet 26 points because of the free throw shooting, but that's what Steph needs at this stage in his career. He can't have a loud 30 every night. It's asking too much of him. In the last few seasons, Steph has been Steph, but it's the degree of difficulty has risen for him because of the players around him. And I think that was my biggest takeaway from last night's game, albeit a preseason game. I know it's preseason, but Portland's out there playing like it's the regular season. Chauncey has them playing hard. Is that this team is more well suited to help Steph. You look at Jimmy Butler in a true second option, a change of pace option where things are not going well in our typical style. He can slow it down, get to the line, and do his thing, right? Al Horford, has there ever been a big man who, from the first minute he stepped on the floor, just seamlessly fit into the system? He just knows. You saw the reload, and just the screening, the rescreening, everything, right? And then you look at the role players; they all know how to play with Steph. And so, listen, we all understand Steph has to be Steph in order for that's the ceiling on this team. It always has been, and it always will be, as so long as he's in uniform. But I think that the way this team is designed, he may not have to do as much heavy lifting. He can still give you 25, 26 points, but there'll be more nights like last night where it's like, well, he shot 12 free throws. It's not like he had to ISO and have some Herculean effort to get those points, because that's how it should look at this stage in his career. There's got to be nights where it comes easier. Now, I wanted to talk about the rookie Will Richard, who got the start in place of, well, Jimmy and Draymond didn't play last night. And by the way, I took a really good look at his minutes in today's breakdown. If you don't want to sign up on the Patreon, you can just join the YouTube membership and you get those same breakdowns in a link. Same style. So that's, again, a great way to support the channel, and you get a much more in-depth look at each game and each breakdown. And if you miss a game, you watch the breakdown, you'll feel like you didn't miss anything. You're like, all right, I know what happened. I know the storylines. I know who played well. I know the context of how it unfolded. But Will Richard, listen, I said it after watching him in Summer League. I was like, he's ready to compete for rotational minutes. But then you looked at this roster, and you're like, how is he going to get on the floor? You got Mo, you got Pods, you got Melton, you got Seth, GP2. Like, there's no way he's going to see the floor. But then you look, and you're like, all right, Moses has got the calf strain. Melton won't be ready till December. Seth, they're bringing him along slowly. There's some sort of contract loophole thing they're working out. And all of a sudden, the door is open, and the rookie seems like he's stepping through it. And, Mo had to be over there on the sidelines kind of feeling like Brock watching old Mac Jones. Like, dang, this kind of look like, right? But no, let's get into, what his attributes are and what he brings to the table. He's a great cutter. He's got great hands. He's a good passer. But I think let's talk about the hands, because it's not good enough to just have good hands. Maybe if you're a big man, that's like one of the top traits of a big man. You're like, well, he's athletic, he runs well, he doesn't have good hands. How many of those guys have we seen? James Wiseman. But no. So to go along with the really good hands, he has the motor and the timing to be super disruptive with them. And I think he was credited with 1 or maybe 2 steals last night. He forced like 4 or 5 turnovers with his motor and his effort and the timing of when he swipes at the ball and the motor to constantly stay, from one play to the next, from one effort to the next effort. And then the three ball, that was the thing when you talk to Florida fans, they're like, listen, he's kind of a mid-range shooter. The three ball wasn't really quite there yet. Looked pretty good last night. What was he, like 3 or 4, 3 or 5? It's a high elevating shot. I said it during the summer. The way he moves, now he certainly doesn't have the same mentality or play the exact same, but the jumper and the way he kind of moves reminds me of a young Brad Beal in the mechanics of it. And so you don't hate that. One thing Brad Beal does do is shoot the ball well, but he just fits right in and he's ready to go. 4 years of college, national championship. He's used to big games. He cuts well. He rebounds for his size. And, I don't know, the Kerr rotation thing is always going to be a debate every year. But with the amount of depth they have this year, and, I could just see Will quickly becoming a favorite of Kerr's because, look, I think when you contrast him with Mo, I think Mo has a wider, bigger, stronger frame. And so defensively, he can guard up better, and he can guard some bigger wings and even some forwards at times, where Will, I think, is a quicker guard where he can move better laterally and he'd be better defensively on a quick wing. Like let's use an example of, Anthony Simons. I don't know why he came to mind because I guess we played Portland last night. I know he's in Boston, but if he's the 2 guard, right? Will Richard's a better matchup than Mo, right? Whereas, I don't know, just pick a bigger guard who uses their power and their body more. That maybe would be the Mo matchup. The shooting, if Mo's thumb is good and his hand's good, it's too small of a sample size to say Will Richards is a knockdown 3-point shooter. He passes the eye test, but so does Mo of late with the healthy hand. And so it's a good problem to have. But I'm curious to see how Will finds minutes because he's going to find minutes. He just does too many good things. He's too much of a Warrior and Steve Kerr type of player. Now, Kuminga, once again, some good and some bad. They featured him offensively. He only had 2 of what? Did we have 26 turnovers? Some of this was Portland. Their rotations and closeouts were pretty dang good for a preseason game. Like that's what Portland and Chauncey Billups are going to hang their hat on with all those young athletes. Like we got to defend, we got to rotate and get out. And the rotations were pretty crisp. So I credit Portland with some of that, but some of it was just slop. Some of it was makeshift lineups, right? But Kuminga, he was creating for others and he was getting frustrated and then he gets thrown out. And there's no footage of it. It's like a Diddy party. There's no video of it, but we all know it happened. No, so he gets thrown out by, I guess he made contact with the referee. That's an automatic ejection. Now we've seen the refs use their brain sometimes. Sometimes if it's a friendly tap, then they don't do it. But if it's an aggressive, contact with the referee, you're gone. And again, we didn't see the footage. But here's what I'll say about Kuminga and his tolerance with the refereeing. He, from day one, has been demonstrative towards the refereeing. And that's just, it's his personality. He's a fiery, emotional guy. You can tell, right? But what I would say is moving forward, he needs to be much more like Jimmy than Draymond. We all know Draymond, in his relationship with the referees, but one, Draymond has built and established that relationship. He is a Hall of Fame player where he's going to get away with more. And the refs already know what time it is with him. It's like he can say more because they expect more from him, right? And I'm not saying Kuminga is anywhere near that level, but the way that the refs, they don't want to be shown up. They don't want big motions and big screaming towards them, right? And why I say be more like Jimmy is Jimmy does it much more subtly and nuanced, where he doesn't get a call. He doesn't like a call. You watch Jimmy, he just stares the ref down. He just gives him like a dirty look. He doesn't say anything. And it's subtle enough where it doesn't show up the ref, but it lets him know like, hey, what are you doing? I want that call, And so hopefully Kuminga, amongst other things, can learn that and lean towards that style with the refereeing, because he is a guy that's going to get fouled a lot. There's going to be some missed whistles, but the throwing up of the hands, it never does you any favors. And so he gets tossed out. Trace Jackson starts the second half in his place. And they may have stumbled into something. Who knows how many minutes they were, Kerr initially had planned to play. Trace, but they went with a big lineup of Trace and Al against this very big athletic Blazers team who out-rebounded the Warriors by 20 just like a week ago in their first preseason matchup. Well, we not only won the rebounding matchup, but it was Trace, 10 rebounds. I think almost all of them coming in that second half. And the double big lineup, if you will, with him and Al, where they're kind of interchangeable defensively. And then because of Al's spacing offensively, you can get away with it. And that's what it got me to thinking about. We've all been so focused on Kuminga and his fit and his growth, his lack of fit, right? But now with Al, post, and the shooters off the bench, the more shooting that we've added now, what does that do for Trace Jackson as a vertical spacer and as a rim runner? Because he certainly is our best rebounder. You know, he's so strong. He gets off the floor so quickly. And so when you pair him and Al, that might be an answer to some of these bigger teams that are just going to mash us on the glass. And so you watch Steph just, do Steph things in that third quarter, along with Al, who it's a quiet game, but he does a lot defensively. Al's been very impressive. He looks like Al Horford, so that's good, right? And they take, get a little bit of a cushion, and Pat Spencer brings us home in the fourth quarter against, mind you, the Blazers. Chauncey had his starters out there. Like Grant, Drew Holiday, their starters were out there in the fourth quarter, and Pat Spencer kind of controlled that fourth quarter. He and Trace have great chemistry going back to Santa Cruz. Will Richard, it was, it doesn't matter. The record, we're 3-1 in preseason, but Pat is another guy. I bring up Will Richard getting minutes. Pat, how's Pat going to get minutes? They have a glutton of riches on the bench in the backcourt. I don't know if one of them becomes a trade piece to get another big. I'm getting ahead of myself, but they all know how to play together. The chemistry seems to be good, and we get the win. There is a preseason finale Friday versus the new look Los Angeles Clippers. Chris Paul back in a Clippers uniform. John Collins, Brooke Lopez. The Clippers, I'm not going to lie to you, I was jealous of the moves they made, because a lot of those players I thought could have fit well with us, but they do a really good job with fitting around players and doing that. So we'll get a look at them. But the question is, is this going to be a dress rehearsal where we see extended minutes for the vets? Are we going to see Jimmy Butler? I guess kind of buried the lead, because that's probably the most important thing happening right now is Jimmy sprained his ankle in practice on Friday. Obviously didn't play last night. And, you hope it's just a tweak and they're just being extra precautious. But at the same time, we know the history of how the Warriors handle these things, and they're not exactly transparent or honest with things. Like a minor tweak where he's going to be out a game or two, we've seen turn into longer things. So fingers crossed that we see Jimmy Friday in the preseason finale, and all the veterans. I wouldn't go as far as to play them extended minutes. Play them the first half and then get deep into this deep bench in the second half. And the Clippers, I know that Ty Lue's been playing his vets a lot, but I wouldn't match that. I would stick to our script. I will be back with that breakdown. I guess it'll be Saturday late morning, early afternoon. Again, you can get that breakdown here as a YouTube member or on the Patreon. The links will be in the description. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.